Welcome back, everybody. In today's video, I'll be discussing the massive news regarding NVIDIA and AMD's ARM CPU developments. And where is Intel? Let's find out. First off, what is ARM, you ask? Look in your pocket. Your cell phone is powered by ARM. If you have a tablet, that's ARM as well. Do you have an Apple computer? Well, that's ARM. Apple's magnificent M1 chip, built on ARM. The M1 performance is actually very good. Look at this. For mobile processors, it was at the top of the heap when it came out. Although it is hard to get accurate performance comparisons between ARM and x86 since the instruction sets are so different. Did you know that Amazon makes processors? Well, guess what? They do. They created a line of Graviton chips for AWS that competes with Intel and AMD. Graviton sounds like a transformer, but it's real. The other cloud providers are working on custom designs as well. NVIDIA actually tried to acquire ARM for around $40 billion a few years back, but regulators stopped it. AMD was working on an ARM processor for dense servers, set for release in 2017. However, due to... well, why was the K12 cancelled? AMD was literally on the brink of bankruptcy. Here's AMD's historical net income numbers. Total dumpster fire. You will rarely see numbers as bad as this for over such a long period of time. Holy cow. So the choices were to release Ryzen or K12. They could not afford to do both. So Lisa Su, AMD's new CEO, axed the K12 early in her tenure at AMD. Jim, I love you, man. You are the best chip designer ever. But to call the cancellation stupid, I disagree. Time for the new news. Exclusive! NVIDIA to make ARM-based PC chips in major new challenge to Intel. It's not hyperbole, this is major news. Before I continue, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, NVIDIA has quietly begun designing CPUs that would run Microsoft Windows operating system and use technology from ARM Holdings. The AI chip giant's new pursuit is part of Microsoft's effort to help chip companies build ARM-based processors for Windows PCs. Microsoft plans to take aim at Apple, which has nearly doubled its market share in the 3 years since releasing its own ARM-based chips in-house for its Mac computers. Advanced Micro Devices also plans to make chips for PCs with ARM technology. NVIDIA and AMD could sell PC chips as soon as 2025. NVIDIA and AMD would join Qualcomm, which has been making ARM-based chips for laptops since 2016. Apple's custom chips have given Mac computers better battery life and speedy performance that rival chips that use more energy. Executives at Microsoft have observed how efficient Apple's ARM-based chips are, including with AI processing, and desired to attain similar performance. It goes on to say that ARM chips have long-powered smartphones. The exclusivity agreement with Qualcomm ends in 2024, which explains the 2025 release date. Microsoft learned from the 90s that they do not want to be dependent on Intel again. They don't want to be dependent on a single vendor. If ARM really took off in PC chips, they were never going to let Qualcomm be the sole supplier. Microsoft, it says, has been pushing chip makers to include AI functionality into their designs. Time to put on your nerd glasses. I won't get too technical, but what exactly is ARM and how is it different from Intel's x86? x86 is the type of processor used in most computer and server hardware. x86 requires hardware components to act independently of each other. Your graphics card, for example, is on another chip, if you want the best performance. ARM processors do not have a separate CPU. Instead, the processing unit is on the same physical substrate as the other hardware controllers. This is an integrated circuit. There is no ARM processor manufacturer. ARM Holdings licenses chip designs to other hardware manufacturers, which then incorporate the ARM processor chip into their hardware designs. Unlike x86, ARM chips are not interchangeable and are highly application specific. These processors are manufactured together in what's called a system on a chip. Think of your cell phone. If you were to open up your phone, it's basically one piece of silicon with various chips on top. x86 is a CISC architecture. ARM is RISC. What's the difference? RISC literally means Reduced Instruction Set Computer. The processors are simpler and have fewer instructions that can be called on them. RISC architecture was inspired by a need to make smaller chips with better performance for smaller computers. Like your phone. The emphasis on ARM has been on overall resource management, including low energy consumption and lower heat production. x86 CPUs tend to favor high-end processing speed over lower power consumption. These new chips from NVIDIA and AMD will likely go into new custom server chips and perhaps low-power devices. Now, where does this leave Intel, the king in x86 microprocessors? Intel has been bleeding market share in desktop, as you can see here, as well as servers. Here are Intel's numbers for last quarter, just astronomically bad, to be frank. Revenue down 15%, debt to income down 52%. Intel is shrinking fast. Going back to this chart, Intel's performance lately has been embarrassing. In fact, just last week, Intel launched their brand new top of the line, I put that in quotes, desktop processors. These were supposed to crush AMD in gaming. They didn't. These chips are so bad that they barely eked out a win over AMD's chip designs from 1.5 years ago. And they lose outright to AMD chips released half a year ago. And this is where things get worse. Not only do these new chips lose to AMD, look at how much power they consume to lose. AMD's 7950X3D uses half the watts of Intel's flagship and outperforms it easily. Honestly, I'm a little surprised that NVIDIA and AMD are jumping at ARM and Intel is holding tight onto x86, given Intel's massive R&D spending. Or maybe I'm not. Intel is a sinking ship, but they do have a new CEO, and he needs to change course fast to remain relevant. My cat says don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.